Now let's talk about pie charts. The most common use cases for pie charts are showing the proportional breakdown for things that have a relatively small number of categories, as here we're showing just three income groups, and where we're comparing only maybe just within that one grouping and showing how it's broken down, or maybe we're doing a comparison across two or at the most three things. As soon as we're getting beyond that, we want to consider a different type of chart. So some things to keep in mind with regard to pie charts. First of all, pie charts become really difficult to interpret when you have a large number of categories as we do here. This is the same data that we saw before when we were looking at a stacked column chart, but with the stacked column chart, it's much easier to interpret this information for a couple of different reasons. For one, it's just easier to keep track of what's where when it is arrayed in the same way as the legend, and there's no way to really make the legend follow the pies. We could use labels, but even that's a little bit tricky. Also, we know that people are better at interpreting the area of rectangles than they are of a slice of pie like this. It's just harder for your brain to understand this as 9% than it would be looking at 9% of a column or 9% of a bar just because of the shape. It's also hard to compare across even two pies and let alone more than that. For example, when we looked at this data before in this stacked column charts, we were comparing two different years. And so we could have another pie here and we could be comparing across those two. But even that's difficult. It's difficult, again, because partly of the shape and also the positioning of the different slices of pies. If we're in a situation where we do have either a lot of pies or a lot of slices, we are better off using stacked columns or stacked bars. Even with a single pie, we want to make really sure that the categories that we've got are mutually exclusive. And as a reminder, what that means is you're in one and only one category, not more than one. And this takes us back to the problems with the original chart that we looked at the very beginning of this section, where we found, looking at the pizza visualization, that this was a poor quality of visualization because many people like more than one type of pizza topping, and that suggests that a pie chart is not the right way to array the data because we need mutually exclusive groups, and those groups are not mutually exclusive.